In this video, I'm gonna go over some of the absolute best side hustles that you can take on in 2023 and actually turn into a business for yourself. Now, this is not like all the other side hustle videos out there where you state the obvious, like being an Uber and a Lyft driver and delivering for Grubhub or Uber Eats. This is not that. This is actually based on my real life experience and how I started my journey as an entrepreneur, and all the differences that I had all began with a different side hustle. And these are ones that you can take on yourself and actually end up creating businesses. And in a way, this is also going to tell my story of how I've had businesses and how I've been able to grow these businesses to earn over 6 figures per year. So let's get into it. Now, the first side hustle might be one that you may have heard before, but there is a platform called FIVERR. Now, the reason why I bring up this particular platform and why you should potentially think about listing yourself on FIVERR is because it's a fantastic way to dabble into different points of interest that you might have and see if you can potentially, create a business out of it. And this is how I created my very first 6-figure business from 2014. And I'm actually going to show you guys my earnings in just a second. So back when FIVERR first came out, it's a platform where you can list yourself as a freelancer, right? Maybe you know how to do graphic design. Maybe you know how to draw or sketch or build websites. You can literally list any sort of gig that you might have any sort of skill set in. Well, the problem was that I never really had a skill set in anything. I couldn't play any music. I couldn't play any instruments. I don't know how to draw. I did not go to school for any sort of graphic design or any major tech skills. So I was like, what can I go on this platform and sort of create a listing as? Well, I knew the one thing that I do have is a voice. So maybe I can list a gig for doing voiceovers, because at that time I didn't make video. I wasn't comfortable doing this, but I can definitely read off of a script and say a couple words about a certain subject matter. That seemed easy enough. I needed no previous skill set. So back in 2014, I listed my very first gig on FIVERR doing voiceovers. And to my surprise, I started getting a lot of orders for people wanting voiceovers for their products, their services, and just descriptions of whatever it was that they were working on for their businesses. And voiceovers took literally no time at all. They would send over a script, I would read it, and I would submit the order back to them, and they were happy with it. And I was like, wow, this is crazy easy, no skill set needed. And I started making first hundreds of dollars a month, and then it turned into thousands of dollars a month. And in my best months, I was doing pretty close to $10,000. Now, eventually what that led to was me trying new things. And it was like, okay, well, I wonder if more than a voiceover, if I can do video, because my clients started asking, oh, well, can you do a video review? And I was like, okay, sure enough, let me try it out and see if it works out. And I got to work with some really cool companies on FIVERR, which is unbelievable till this day. If you guys are familiar with a major gaming company called Roblox, well, when Roblox first started, of course, it was super new and no one was on that platform playing those games. They actually came to FIVERR and had me make an intro video for them for their homepage website. It was one of the coolest projects I worked on, but I didn't know it at the time until hindsight. I realized, oh my gosh, that was Roblox who I did a video for. So that is one of the first side hustles that I sort of started doing. And then I actually ended up turning it into a virtual assistance business. And that is going to be the number 2 side hustle you can take on. Now, let's say you go onto one of these freelancing websites, you create a business, but at the end of the day, I was still one person. So I ended up creating a team of virtual assistants that I hired from overseas to help me begin fulfilling orders and expanding the skill set that I was putting out there. As I had a chance to talk to the clients that were coming in from FIVERR, I realized that they had other needs, such as bookkeeping or responding to customer service emails, picking up phone calls for customer support. And I thought, hey, if I can sort of multiply myself, then I can take profit from these incoming orders over a variety of skill sets that I personally didn't hold. I can pay other people and we can really grow this thing. Now, for you, you may think, okay, well, maybe I don't want a full-blown business where, I'm delegating and managing managing employees, but being a virtual assistant on one of these platforms is also another fantastic side hustle that you can take on. Oftentimes, things entailed of being a VA is very simple. Everything from just, simply answering to emails and support tickets, and it's all remote and work from home. Well, that next business I took, I grew it to earning about $25,000 to $30,000 per month. And it was literally just having an array of gigs on the FIVERR platform, everything from handling customer support for Shopify stores because drop shipping and e-commerce was very popular at that time, to answering emails, to setting up drop shipping and order fulfillment, and till this day, still putting out videos and doing voiceovers. So it sort of snowballed into this big umbrella of things that I ended up doing, and that did extremely well for me. So, you can definitely go list yourself on a freelance platform and then build it into something that might pique your interest. Oftentimes, the thing that really stops people is maybe not knowing exactly what it is that they want to do. Maybe you want to have a business, maybe you want to have a team, and you want to start your own thing. Finally, you want to have your own source of income and not rely on your employer, but you don't know what to do. And that's why having FIVERR or a platform like FIVERR, Upwork is such a great side hustle to start, because it allows you to experiment with a lot of things, and then you can decide what you really like and actually turn it into a six-figure business. All right, now the third side hustle, which is gonna sound a little odd, but I promise you guys, it is magical, and the ability to earn so much money, and most people don't utilize it in this way, and that is YELP. And so you're probably like, what the heck do I mean by YELP? Now, we know that YELP is the popular restaurant app where you can rate and review restaurants that you go to. But what people don't realize is that it's an amazing app to list your business, right? Even if your business is a side hustle and it's just a one-off thing that you do, it is a fantastic place for people to find you, especially in your local area. Now, in a lot of these side hustle videos, a lot of people give, the advice of joining an app like TaskRabbit. You can list yourself on TaskRabbit, and maybe you know how to build furniture, maybe you know how to install TVs or put up mirrors, and you can charge an hourly rate. But a level up from that, where you can really open yourself up to a huge amount of people and look very reputable, is actually listing yourself on YELP. Now, when I recently moved, I needed help. I needed help assembling furniture, putting up TVs, putting up mirrors. My 5'2" self could not handle any of these bigger projects. And so I simply went on Yelp and I looked for furniture assembly. And sure enough, I found somebody in my local area that had 5-star reviews and had an hourly rate for furniture assembly. And that's kind of how I started sourcing people for all the things that I need, even down to my Turo business, where I have people come and do mobile car washes or mobile oil changes or, bumper repairs. So if you have anything that you are really handy with, right? Better than listing yourself on TaskRabbit, it's actually fantastic to list yourself on Yelp, right? And you can go under a general name, you can go under your personal name. I mean, it's many ways of doing this, and it's even great for seasonal things, right? So let's say during the winter, your side hustle is putting up Christmas lights, and that is a fantastic place to list yourself, because that is where people often go to find service providers. And when I had the guy come out to do my furniture assembly, I just got to talking with him, and he earns well over 6 figures running his one solo listing on Yelp and going around and being sort of a handyman for people. His hourly rate was $90 an hour. So I think oftentimes people really underrate, how much potential there is by listing your skill set and your ability to go and help people with their everyday needs. So using Yelp as a potential opportunity funnel for that is just absolutely fantastic. And if I ever ended up doing something that is more in the physical world, I would absolutely create a listing on Yelp so that people could find me through there. Okay, now the number 4 side hustle, and this one is also a little bit unique and something that I used to do for quite some time, is selling products at your local flea market or swap meet. Okay, you guys are gonna think this is crazy. What are you talking about? And I kid you not, I made one year over $100,000 $1,000 by selling product at my local swap meet. And it was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and something that most people don't know about. And in fact, it was a mentor of mine who told me about it and taught me about it. Now, the local flea market or swap meet is amazing in that it is so cost effective and easy to do. Let's say you have a product, maybe you know how to bake something, maybe you have the ability to source certain products from an Alibaba, or you can buy bulk pallets from Amazon of things that you're interested in and you want to resell them. But where do you resell them? Well, the swap meet and the flea market is an absolutely fantastic place to resell. Now, I used to do it here locally. It was about $50 per day to rent a space where you can set up a booth. And I literally had 2 tables from IKEA that I would set up with a little easy up tent, and I would sell product. And it was absolutely phenomenal. I used to sell women's shapewear, and it's a long story as to how I got into that. But basically, from FIVERR, I met a client who we handled all of his drop shipping, and he used to source women's shapewear, and he had excess inventory which he needed to get rid of, which I then took and then resold at the flea market on the weekends, which was literally making me at least $5,000 per weekend that I did this, and it was a phenomenal business. It's also such a great business in that it's extremely low cost. You don't have to market yourself because the flea market is already bringing people in. And finally, it's such a great experience in doing sales and talking to people and getting real-time feedback, and it really helps you exercise your entrepreneurial muscles. And not only that, but it's instant gratification because you are literally taking that money home same day and it's in your hands, and it gives you so much momentum. I just remember every weekend that I was going to the flea market, I just wanted to top the weekend that I had prior. And it's just so exciting when you get that momentum. You have cash in hand and you just feel absolutely awesome about yourself. So one, you either already have, access to product that you may want to sell, or maybe you know how to cook something, bake something, make jams, make anything crafty or creative. Or two, if you are looking for product, you can go to some of these amazing websites like Alibaba. You can source things that are pretty inexpensive and you can resell. Now, the other great thing that I came across, which I, found out through another vendor at the flea market, is you can actually buy these bulk pallets from places like Amazon. And these pallets will have hundreds and thousands of items, and they'll give you a description, and they are dirt cheap. And so you can literally buy a pallet, go back and resell it. So if you're looking for a weekend side hustle where you want to really be out there and interacting with people, setting up shop at a local flea market or a swap meet is an absolutely fantastic experience that I would recommend to anybody. All right, and the 5th side hustle, which till this day it really surprises me how much of a need there is for this, is website building. Now, you're probably thinking, hey Saimah, you said you don't need any previous skill sets or any training in any of this, and it's true, you don't. For website building, you absolutely do not need any training. Now, like I said, I never went to school for website building. This is one of my early businesses that I had, and I made a killing doing it. Why? Because these days technology has come so far. So what I used to do is I used to use GoDaddy. Now, many of you guys might know GoDaddy as a domain provider, right? That's where you can go and buy the name of your website. But what a lot of people don't know is that GoDaddy also had something called a website builder. And it was literally the easiest thing to use because it was already a pre-made template that you can drag and drop different elements and type in the name of your website and your description and easily just upload photos, and before you know it, you have a full-fledged website where you can, set up a checkout, people can buy product, and you are ready to go. So back in the day when I first got started on my entrepreneurial journey, I used to just go on GoDaddy, play around with their website builder and build websites for fun. Then I actually started cold calling businesses in my area and asking them if they needed a website. Now, the beauty is these days you can go on Yelp and you can go online and see if anyone has a decent website or not. And you would be absolutely amazed at how many people are in need of a website or an update or who just need help, especially because this day and age, so many of the businesses that exist are owned by the boomer generation, and they still do have a little bit of a learning curve when it comes to technology. So there is so much business to be had. And it's amazing because yes, there's GoDaddy's website builder, but these days there are so many resources that you can use. Everything from Wix, Squarespace to Shopify, and these are all literally drag and drop templates that will literally just take you a couple of days to build a website for someone, and you can really charge a premium for that. Now, the beauty of website building is if you can land some clients is that you can oftentimes set them up on recurring payments, right? So if they want their sites maintained over time, they want you to update information or products or information, then you can charge them a monthly retainer, which means that you then have income coming in month after month after month. And the beauty of website building these days is that it is such a great word of mouth business. I can guarantee you, if you do a good job and have a handful of clients that really become your true fans, they will recommend you over to so many people, and you can create an entire business. And circling back to FIVERR and getting virtual assistants, that's when you can really bring people on and help you expand something like that and grow it into a full-on business, which is exactly what I ended up doing. And the final side hustle, if you've been following my channel, then you know that I would highly recommend the Turo business. Now, these days, especially if you already have a car, which is an expense to you, and you may be working from home, or maybe you do a lot of freelancing and you already have a lot of side hustles. And I think it is always extremely smart to offset any expenses that you might have. And if you can take something like a vehicle and turn it into a revenue producing asset, then why not? Now, going into 2023, we know that the economy is not in the best place. Inflation is at all-time highs, and it's just becoming a very tough market to exist in, and your money is not going as far as it used to. So listing your car on Turo is taking a depreciating asset and turning it into a revenue producing asset. At least it's out there, it's working for you, it's making money, and it's offsetting your expenses and hopefully bringing you in money. And so Turo has really been my latest business that has earned me over 6 figures per year, and one that I highly recommend. And if you choose to learn more about Turo and how you can list your car and rent it out and make money on a weekly, monthly basis, you can check out my website at powerhost.club, and I have a full course that will walk you through it A to Z, get you set up and get you the inner workings of it. So as we head into 2023 and you think about all those extra income streams that you want to create, I wanted to show you guys from my own personal journey of always taking on side hustles and turning them into businesses, how much potential exists and how much opportunity is truly out there. So don't waste any more time. You've got to experiment, you've got to try, and that's how you will figure out what works for you. And I guarantee you, when you unleash that part of yourself and that part of your life, you will absolutely be hooked and unstoppable.